All right, so this is our topology. Uh, we have this firewall, and this is the management port what we have here, which is ETH0, and then ETH1 is connecting towards the internet, ETH2 is connecting towards our internal network, and ETH3 is connecting towards our DMZ, right? So accordingly, we are going to do the configuration of the device. So in this case, let's say I will bring this up. This is 3. Okay. All right. So this is how our topology is going to be. For this entire office, I'm going to use a subnet block, and I will be taking the subnet as 10.10.0.0/16. This is the block what I'm going to take for this entire office. And we will be dividing this subnet into smaller subnets. That is going to be 10.10.0.0/24, 10.10.1.0/24, 10.10.2.0/24, 10.10.3.0/24. Okay, so this is how I'm going to take the subnets internally. So I will mention these subnets here: 10.10.0.0/24. This is going to be the subnet between firewall and the core router 02. I will take one of the IP address here, 10.10.0.1. So this is going to be our firewall's internal interface IP address. And I will take our IP address here, 10.10.0.2, which is going to be our internal router IP address. Then here we are going to take a subnet that is 10.10.1.0/24. This is going to be the subnet for this entire server farm at the bottom. And this interface will have the IP address of 10.10.1.1. So this is going to be assigned to this router interface. Here I'm going to take a subnet of 10.10.2.0/24. We'll give a IP address here 10.10.2.1. This is going to be this router IP address on this interface. All right. And here I will take the subnet as 10.10.3.0/24. So this is going to be the subnet between these two core routers. I will take our IP address here 10.10.3.1 on this side, and here I will take 3.2. So from this 10.10.3 subnet, I'm taking 3.1 and 3.2 here. Then we have another subnet here that is 10.10. Let's say 4.0/24. So this is going to be the entire subnet. I will take 10.10.4.1 here. And there is one more subnet at the bottom that we see here, that is 10.10.5.0/24. I will keep it here, and the default gateway for this subnet will be 10.10.5.1. All right. So this is how our topology is going to be. Regarding this DMZ subnet, I will be taking a subnet like this 172.16.0.0/22. Okay. And within this, we will have subnets like 172.16.0.0/24, 172.16.1.0/24, 172.16.2.0/24, and 172.16.3.0/24. Only these many subnets we can get if we use /24 mask for 4 different subnets. Here we may get lot of more subnets because the CIDR block is bigger here. We are using /16 here, and in this case I'm using /22. All right. So after this, uh, and our firewall management interface IP address is 192.168.0.205. This is what we have set up yesterday, right? So this is our management IP address. And if I look at my PC IP config /all, right? This is the IP address what I have here. All right, 192.168.0.107. So my PC IP address is 192.168.0.107. This is the IP address what I have here. All right, so this is our firewall, and this is our management IP address. Okay, now I will go ahead and get onto the configuration side of it. So let's say we'll log in into the firewall. You can see that I'm accessing the firewall through graphical interface, and it is asking for username and password. So let's say I will enter trainer. Password is trainer at 123#. I will acknowledge the banner that we set yesterday. Log in into it. Okay. This is a welcome message what you are seeing, and Palo Alto gives you some information about their product, what is the new thing they are developing in latest version. So we can simply select this box and set do not show this. If you want to read this information, you can always read it. It will have some of the meaningful information from here, right? So you can always prefer reading this. And this is the message what we set yesterday. It's a kind of message which will inform administrator that you are making changes on a critical device. So you should be very careful with this. All right. Okay. Okay. So now once we are on this device, you can also see this banner message that this device is a critical and it is protecting, let's say, data center or so environment. Making changes on this device can be sometime uh, critical if you do some mistake, and so you have to be very careful, right? Now before we make any changes on the device, let's say whatever change you are doing, the recommended practice is that you always take a backup, right? So again, I will follow this process. I will go to the device. You can see that this commit button is grayed out because we have not made any changes onto the device as of now. So I will first go ahead and take a configuration backup on today's state. So I click on the device, then I'm going to click on this operations, and then there is an option called save named configuration. Saving named configuration means you can give your own name here and give a name as backup. Today's date is, let's say, 17 September 2025. Okay, click on OK. And now I want to export this file from this device to my PC. So I will click on this export named configuration snapshot. So I'll click on this, choose the backup file that we created just now, backup 17 September. And so click on OK. And now the backup file has been downloaded into my PC. That you can see, we downloaded one yesterday and I downloaded this today. So we have the backup file available now. All right. Now we are going to make changes into the device related to the network settings. So according to our setting here, this interface is, let's say, ETH3. This is going to be ETH1.
That is ETH2.
Yeah, that's logically it is bridged with the
Correct, correct.
external. So that is going through ETH1 actually.
Okay,
This
okay.
is ETH4. So ETH4 will be here. Okay. And then we will do the configuration according to the topology. All right. So our external interface, which is going towards the internet, is ETH1. Internal interface is ETH3. And then DMG interface will be ETH4. We will configure the DMG part a bit later. First, we will start with ETH1 and ETH3, which is going to be our internal and external interfaces. All right. So I'm into the firewall now. We have already taken the configuration backup. I will start with this network setting here. Under the network setting, you can see that there are total of 24 interfaces that we can see here, out of which I can use any of these interfaces as internal, external, or DMG interface, right? You will not be seeing the management interface in this area. ETH0 is your management interface, which is not shown here. Your management interface will be seen in device section under interface, and this is your management port, that is ETH0. All right. So we are going to do the internal and external network configuration. At this particular stage, you can see that this one is showing as ETH1/1 is your ETH1. There is no type selected, no management profile attached. The link state is showing grayed out. That means it is down. IP address is not assigned. Virtual router is not tagged, and there is no other tagging attached to this one, right? There is no security zone as well that we see here. All right. So we are going to do all these configuration one by one, and I will keep explaining the importance of these attachments that we are going to attach to the device. So to start with, first I will go to zones. All right. Zones, and I'm going to create a zone called, let's say, I will mention it as inside zone. I will name it as inside zone. The type of this zone, I will select it as layer 3. Why I'm selecting this, there is a detailed explanation I'm going to do, but you have to focus on this, what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm giving a name as inside zone, type as layer 3, click on OK. Create another zone, let's say outside zone, select the type as layer 3, click on OK. So we created two zones at this point, right? Inside zone and outside zone. After this, I will go to this virtual router, and there is a virtual router that is showing as default. I will name this virtual router as, let's say, Pune PAFW VR01. I'm saying that this is a Pune Paloalto Firewall virtual router 01. We can create multiple virtual routers. We will be talking about that later. So this is nothing but a kind of router in a firewall, right? So your firewall is a security device which will have security policies and so on. At the same time, it is also a routing device as well. It can perform the routing task as well. So this is going to be one of the virtual router we will be using in this firewall. All right, we created zones, we created virtual router. Now we'll go back to the interface, right? And I'm going to select these interfaces. Our first interface, according to the topology, is, let's say, ETH1. It is going towards the internet. All right. So I will go to this first one, and I will give a name as WAN link. WAN link. And this link is coming from Airtel. Airtel is my service provider, and the circuit ID what Airtel has given to us is 45678 something. All right. Why I'm giving this information here is when some other network engineer, when they look at this interface details, right, they will be able to know that this is a WAN link. WAN link is going towards the internet, and this link is from Tata or Airtel, and this is the circuit ID. So if anyone is facing some issue related to internet and they have to call back to the Airtel, they will be able to refer this circuit ID. Okay. Now the type of this interface has to be selected as layer 3 here, layer 3 interface. And you can see that at the bottom we are getting the option to assign the virtual router to this interface and the security zone, right? So I'm going to select the same virtual router what we created just now, and the security zone in this case will be outside, because this interface is being used for the external side. So this is going to be outside. On the other side here, I'm going to take the IP address provided by ISP. So in this particular case, let me quickly verify a few things. Okay, this is bridging with Ethernet adapter. Okay, so in this case, our public IP address is going to be 192.168.1.0/24. This is going to be the public network in this case. I will remove this one. And here it is going to be 192.168.1.1. All right. And I'm going to assign a IP address to firewall that is going to be, let's say, 192.168.1. Let's say I will take it as 245, for example. This is going to be my external interface IP address, right? Now this IP is belonging to this particular subnet what we have got from the Airtel. Airtel has provided this range to us. All right. So this is going to be my external interface IP address. So I will be assigning the IP according to this topology here. I will go to this 192.168.1.245/24. This is going to be the IP address of external interface. I clicked on OK. Now you can see that this interface is selected as layer 3 interface. We have given the IP address, we have attached the virtual router, we have attached the security zone, and at the same time we have given the comment or description here. All right. You will be able to also rearrange these columns by dragging and dropping here. So you can rearrange it according to your convenience so that you can see the things at once. All right. So ETH1 is having this IP address, virtual router, outside zone, and your comments are added here. And the interface type is being selected as layer 3. I will keep it here. Okay. Now it's time to configure our internal interface. What is internal interface we want to use here? ETH1/3. So I will go to ETH1/3 here, give a name. This is our LAN link. Now LAN link is going to which device? It is going to L3 core 02. All right. And it is going on which interface? It is going on, let's say, fast Ethernet 0/0. Right. So I will put it here. Okay. So it is going to fast Ethernet 0/0. So I will mention it here. LAN link going to L3 core 02 ETH 0/0. Okay. So I'm giving a quick description that this firewall interface is connecting to core 2, internal core 2 on ETH 0/0. The type of the interface will be layer 3. We will select the virtual router and the interface zone inside will be selected here. All right. Then we'll add the IP address in this case. According to our topology, what IP address we want to assign here? 10.10.0.1. All right. So we'll go ahead and assign this 10.10.0.1/24. Okay. This is done. Now two of our interfaces are configured. All right. Now after this, let's say this firewall is connecting to these internal networks, right? So how many subnets do you see here as a directly connected subnet here? One is this connected on ETH1 and one is this connected on ETH3. What about these subnet? Let's say 10.10.1, 3, 2, 5, and 4. Are they directly connected to the firewall? No, right? That means firewall will need a route for these subnets. Otherwise, it will not be knowing where to send the packet for these particular subnets, right? At the same time, what if the traffic is going for any unknown IP address, which we do not know and which is not in our internal network? So firewall should know a route to send the packet to the ISP router so that ISP router can take you to the internet, right? So we will be adding a default route on the firewall pointing towards the internet, and we will be adding the static route towards this router for reaching to this subnet, and all other internal subnets. All right. Now you have to keep in mind that internally we are using this larger CIDR block /16, right? So while writing a static route, either I can add a route directly for this larger subnet. So I need only one static route pointing to this one. So it will cover all of this. Or I can write a static route for all the subnets individually. All right. So we will go with individual routing here. It will be making more sense for you all to understand that how a routing decision can impact your traffic flow onto the network. All right. So to start with, let's say I will first add a route for this particular subnet. Let's say this one on the firewall. I will not add route for this. I will not add route for this, neither for this one. All right. I will just add route for 10.10.4.0 and I will add a default route pointing towards this external router, that is ISP router. All right. So let's say I'll go back to the firewall now. We'll go to the virtual router that we have created. Now you can see that these two interfaces are tagged here. Why they got tagged here? Because in the interfaces, we selected this virtual router. right? While configuring the interfaces, we selected this virtual router here. So these two interfaces are now reflecting in this virtual router 1/1 and 1/3. I will go here, go to the static route, and you can see that there is no routing added in this virtual router. So I'm going to add a route here, mentioning this as a default route, default route. What is this default route? 0.0.0.0/0, and this is going to be reachable through which interface? Which interface is going towards the external side? 1/1, right? So 0.0.0.0/0. Okay. And what is the next hop in this case? The ISP router IP address, right? 192.168.1.1. This is going to be the ISP router IP address as per our topology. This is nothing but one of my modem, right? So modem is taking us to the internet. So this IP address is of my modem device, which is connecting to the internet. Okay. So this one is done. I will click on OK here. And then I'm going to add a static route for our internal network. So let's say I will mention it as route LAN 4. Let's say I will call that as LAN 4. 10.10.4.0 we are talking about, right? So I will consider it as LAN 4. It is going to be reachable through internal interface. So we'll select this. Subnet is 10.10.4.0/24. And next hop. What is going to be the next hop in this case? Next hop will be our internal router. So I'm telling to this firewall is that if you want to reach to this particular subnet, send the packet to this particular router, right? What is this router IP address? It is this one. All right. One thing you have to keep in mind, whenever you are adding a route, right? And you have to define the next hop, your next hop has to be from the same subnet that firewall can reach to, right? So you can see that firewall one interface is using this IP address, right? Which is belonging to 0.0 subnet. So the next hop will also be belonging to the same subnet. Otherwise, firewall cannot reach there. You can see that even when I added the default route, I choose this particular IP address, which is also belonging to the same subnet here, right? So you cannot have a route where firewall cannot send the packet to a network which is not directly attached to it, right? So in this particular case, we are going to add this route for 10.10.4.0 subnet, and next hop is 10.10.0.2. One is on the firewall, two is on the router side. Okay, this one is done. We'll click on OK.
Krishna,
Now,
sorry to interrupt.
yes, go ahead.
I mean, on the Cisco router, we can see that whenever we are applying the static route, okay, we have a two option, either or. Either you can mention a exit interface or a next hop. So in this case, next hop is compulsory. I mean,
Yes, in this case, next hop is compulsory.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Okay, so this is done. Now we can go ahead and commit this change. Okay, so once this is done, now you can look at the network interface, and you can see that ETH 1/1, which is our external, is active now. ETH 1/3, which is also showing as active now, and it is going towards the internal side. Now we will be configuring this entire path. So let's say I'm going to configure this router interface, this interface, this interface, and this interface. Okay, so that our firewall should be able to reach up to this subnet, and this PC should also be able to send the packet up to the firewall so that firewall will be checking the security policy, NAT policies, and it will be sending the packet towards the internet side, right? So as of now, our firewall is ready with the networking settings, right? We did not configure any security policy, right? So even if a computer is sending a packet here to the firewall for going outside, your firewall is going to by default deny the traffic. All right. Why? Because it is a security device and now it is ready to do its job. And when will it accept the packet or allow the packet? If it finds a security policy matching for the traffic. But before we get onto that side of it, creating the security policy, it is important that our PC should be able to send the packet up to this side. If the packet itself will not reach to the firewall cannot do anything on that side, right? That means there is some issue here itself before the packet is reaching to the firewall. So that is what we are going to make sure that our network is able to reach up to this particular PC. So we will start with router 1. Let's say I will configure this core router 2 here. I will take the console of it. This is a Cisco router, the actual Cisco image, what we use in the real time. All right. So we'll click on the console. Let me expand this. We make it a bit more bigger. Okay. So this is one of the Cisco router image we are having. If I go with this show IP interface brief, you can see that all the interfaces are showing as down and there is no IP address. If I look at show IP route, you can see that there is no routing available here, right? So as per our topology, I'm going to configure the first interface, which is connecting towards the firewall, and it is fast Ethernet 0/0. You can see that this is fast Ethernet 0/0, and the one which is connecting towards this router is 0/1. Okay, so I'm going to this router. We'll start with some basic configuration first. So router is already having the host name. Show run, right? And you can see that host name is showing as L3 core 02. Okay, so this is all okay. Let's say I will go to configuration mode now. Configure terminal. First, I will start with configuring some username and password on this router as well, because we are going to set up the enterprise network, right? So later on, we will be using all these internal PCs to do the configuration and so on. So I will start with this username. Let's say I will mention it as admin, privilege 15, password admin at 123 hash, username trainer, privilege 15, password trainer at 123 hash. Okay, now enable password, enable at 123 hash, enable secret at 123 hash, line VTY 0 space 4, login local, password telnet at 123 hash. Okay, let me quickly explain this what I did. I created two usernames, local usernames on the router with the password as admin at 123 and trainer at 123. I have given the highest privilege, so these two accounts can do any changes onto the router. By enabling this enable password command, uh, I assigned the password for getting into the privilege mode, going into the privilege mode. Okay, and then with this enable secret, if you have set up enable password and enable secret, device will always take this password. You have to keep that in mind. It will not accept the normal enable password. Okay. And by this command, I'm starting the service of telnet on the router. It will start accepting the telnet connection. The maximum people that can connect to this router are 5, 0 to 5. Okay, so at this point, 5 people connect. I can make it to 0 to 15. Maximum number of connection that a Cisco router can accept is, let's say, 16 connections, right? That is the maximum what they have given. This command will instruct the router that your username and password has to be validated locally on the local database. It is not going to be integrated with Radius and so on at this moment, right? Later on, we can integrate. And this is going to be the telnet password. All right. Now, running this command will force this router to accept using admin and trainer as well while login, right? So if we do not have these commands here, right? User commands, when you do a telnet to the router, it will first ask you for this password, right? It will not ask you for username. It will directly ask you for the password. And after that, when you try to go into the enable mode, it will ask you for this particular password, right? But if I have this already configured as a separate users and I have run this command, uh, and if I do the telnet, your router will ask for username and also the password. Okay, so this one is done. Now we'll go back to interface mode. So interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Which side this interface is connecting? Connecting towards the firewall side, right? This is the firewall side interface. So I'm going to give a description here as, what is the firewall name we have? Pune PAFW01, right? What is the interface of internal side? ETS3, right? On the firewall side, it is ETS3. So if someone will look into this configuration, they will get to know that this interface of the router is connecting to the Pune firewall on ETS3, right? This is a good practice what we follow as a network architect, so that when someone is troubleshooting the issue, they will be able to easily identify where this device is connecting to. This is done. Then I will assign the IP address. What is the IP address we want to use? 10.10.0.2. One is already used on the firewall side, so I'm going to use 2 on the internal router. Okay, and subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Then we'll run the command no shutdown to bring up the interface. All right, so this interface is up now. Let's say exit, right? And do the WR. All right, if I do a exit now, all right, we are here. Now, if I run this command show run interface fast Ethernet 0/0, you can see the detail what we configured, right? So we can see the description that it is going towards the firewall on ETS3. This is the IP address of the interface, and it is already in a up state now. All right. Now I will go to configuration mode again, configure terminal, interface fast Ethernet 0/1. 0/1 is going towards this side. If I look at this, 0/1 is going towards this side. So I will configure this interface here, 0/1. Description, where it is connecting to. It is connecting to L3 core 03, right? Or 01. It is connecting to L3 core 01 on which interface? Fast Ethernet 0/0. All right. Okay. Then IP address. What is the IP address we want to use here? 10.10.3.1. 10.10.3.1, 255.255.255.0, and then no shutdown. All right. exit. All right, we configured two of the interfaces, exit from here, WR. And now if I look at this show IP interface brief, all right, you can see that two of the interfaces are now up here and it is configured with the IP address. If I look at the show IP route command, you can see that these are the two directly connected subnets we have, 0 and 3. One is connected to 0/0 of this router and one is connected to 0/1. There is no specific route added here. So I'm going to add a route. Now we are on this particular router. On this router, I'm going to tell to this router that if you want to reach to any destination, any unknown destination, where it is going to be, it will be on the internet, right? So I'm going to add a default route pointing towards the firewall. Firewall is already having a default route pointing towards the ISP, right? So I will be adding a route here, and at the same time, I will add a route on this router to reach to this particular subnet, right? Like we added a route on the firewall saying that to reach to this subnet, you send the packet to this router. I will tell to this router as well that to reach to this particular subnet, send the packet to this particular router. Okay. So we'll quickly do that. Okay. So here I'm going to add a route, configure terminal, IP route 0.0.0.0. This is the default route I'm adding, 0.0.0.0 going to firewall IP address, right? 10.10.0.1. This is our firewall internal interface IP address. I will add a route for our internal subnet 10.10.4.0 255.255.255.0, and this is going to be pointing to 10.10.3.2 IP address. This is our core 1 router IP address, right? This is done. Exit and then do WR, and if I do show IP route now, you can see that the routes has been, it did not take the other route. Okay, it is there, sorry. So we have a default route pointing towards the firewall, and we have a static route for this particular subnet pointing towards our core 1, right? So this router configuration is ready now, right? We are done with this. Now it's time to configure this particular router. So let me quickly check the interfaces. This is fast Ethernet 0/0 and this one is fast Ethernet 0/1. Okay, so I will take the console of this router as well. Let me make it a bit bigger. Change tin and apply. Okay, so now I'm on core 1, right? If I look at this router configuration, show IP interface brief, you will see that there is no IP address on this router, right? So this is a new one. We'll do the similar configuration here. So we'll go to configure terminal, username, admin, privilege 15, password, admin at 123 hash. I will just keep one account here, enable password, enable at 123 hash, line VTY 0/4, login local, password, telnet at 123 hash. This is done. Then we'll start with interface configuration. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Description, it is going to L3 core 02 on fast Ethernet 0/1. All right. IP address is going to be 10.10.3.2, 255.255.255.0, no shutdown, exit, and then interface fast Ethernet 0/1 description. This is our LAN 4. LAN 4. So all the PCs will be considered within this, right? Okay. IP address is going to be 10.10.4.1, 255.255.255.0. Okay. Exit. All right. And then IP route, I'm going to add a route here, 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0, pointing to 10.10.3.1. Okay, to the router 2. This is done. Exit and do WR. We are done till now. Okay, so we have configured all the settings on this router. I have added the default route pointing towards this side, added a default route pointing toward this side, and added a default route pointing towards this side. So there is a forward path for all the unknown destinations, right? And on this firewall, I have a reverse path pointing for this destination. Here I have a reverse path pointing to this destination, right? And here I don't need it because it is directly connected subnet here, right? This is the end of the subnet, so we don't need any route on this particular router for this particular subnet. All right, now we'll quickly go ahead and start verifying the reachability and connectivity. For that, I'm going to power on this machine here. So let's say I will start these machines. I will start this one as well. We'll log in into this machine now. Okay. Okay, so first we'll go to the machine 1, right? And we will assign the IP address as per our topology. So this machine should have the IP address of 4 dot something. Let's say this is going to be 4. Let's say I will make it as 10 or something. This is going to be 4.1. And I will keep the DNS server as 2.2 and 8.8.8. All right. And now we are going to verify the connectivity from this PC. So first, I will look at its IP address, ipconfig/all. We can see that this PC has 10.10.4.10 IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and primary and secondary DNS, right? From this PC, I will try to ping its default gateway first, 10.10.4.1.
That interface is not shut, means unshut.
Okay, so
LAN
did I not
interface.
do
Yeah.
the unshut?
No.
Okay, that's a very good catch. So let's say we'll go to the core 1. And here, if I look at this, I just assigned the IP address. I did not do the no shut command, right? And that is why that IP address is not pinging, right? So the moment I do this, let's say I will do a continuous ping here on this, and I will issue that command on this router. So configure terminal interface fast Ethernet 0/1. I will simply do no shutdown, and we should see a packet coming in, right? So we are getting the reply now that interface has come up, exit WR. All right. So we are good with the connectivity for now. Let's say now I will do the reachability check. So from here, I'm going to ping next hop, that is ping 10.10.3.2. Sorry, ping 10.10.3.2. I'm able to ping. I'm able to ping to the same router, other interface. Now I will ping to the other router, that is router 2. I'm able to reach. Okay. I'm able to. Why there was a timeout for the first one? Because it was trying to learn the MAC address in the background, right? So now we are able to reach to the router 2. I will try pinging the other side of that router, that is 0.2. Am I able to ping now? Right. So I have the reachability up to the router 2 firewall side interface. What if I try pinging to the firewall interface? I'm not able to ping to it, right? I'm not able to ping to the firewall interface because firewall will not accept ICMP or any type of packet on its interfaces. Okay. At the same time, let's say now, if I want to telnet to any of these routers, right? Let's say 10.10.0.2. Which router IP address is this? Router 2, right? If I do a telnet, it is asking for authentication. If I log in into it, I'm on core router 2, right? Similarly, I will be able to even connect to the other router, that is, let's say 3.2 I will take. It is going to accept the connection. We have enabled line VTY and so on. I'm connected to this one. So till now, these things are working absolutely fine. Now, when I tried pinging to the firewall IP address, it did not ping, right? At the same time, let's say if I try accessing the firewall internal interface for the administrative purpose, let's say I will try to do HTTPS 10.10.0.1 IP address. Even this is not working. Firewall is not accepting the connection in this case, right? Why is it so? Because firewall is a security device, and by default, it accepts the administrative connection only on the management interface. The IP what we are trying to access is not the management IP address, it is the internal interface IP address of the firewall, right? So I want to make sure that when I'm sitting inside of this network, I should be able to manage this firewall on the internal interface. So for that, I'm going to create a interface level policy. So let me log in into the firewall again. You see that I'm logging from my admin PC, not from the internal PC. Okay. So I'm logging into this. Okay. So once we are logged in here, let's say if I go to the device, if I go to the interface, this is our management interface. And the management interface already has a policy that it is allowing SSH and HTTPS and ping as well. That is why I'm able to connect on this one. And it is restricting access only from this particular subnet. Okay. But I want to manage the firewall through the internal interface. So in this case, I will go to the internal interface here, click on the interfaces. Okay. Click on the interface and there is an option of management profile here. Okay. So I'm going to attach a management profile. For that, you can scroll down. There is an option called here management interface management. Okay. I will click on this and there is no profile at this moment. So I will create a profile called internal MGMT access. Internal management access. Okay. What all things I want to allow in this case? I want to allow HTTPS, SSH, and ping. Okay. And I want to restrict access to this firewall only from 10 dot subnet, that is 10.10.4.0/24. All right. So even though I'm enabling the internal interface access of the firewall, but I want to restrict only from this particular subnet, because internally there may be many subnets, right? Now this subnet 10.10.4.0 belongs to network team, for example, or security team. We all sit in this particular subnet. So firewall will be allowing access only from this particular network. So we'll go ahead and click on OK. Now I just created this profile here. Now we need to attach this profile to our interface. So I will go to the interface. Which interface we want to apply this? External or internal? Internal, right? Because we want to manage it from the inside, not from the outside. A firewall is a security device, and we should not attach any management profile on the external interface. Otherwise, hackers will try to log in into the firewall. Okay. So I'm going to attach this management profile to our internal interface by clicking on this and going to the advanced. And there is an option of management profile attachment here. So I'm going to select this option, and I can see the profile that I created just now. Click on OK. It says that by attaching a management profile to this interface, you are potentially exposing the firewall administrative interface in this case. I'm okay with this because I'm doing it only for the internal users. All right. Now this is done. I will go ahead and commit this change. And meantime, I will look at this PC to check whether the ping is going to be successful or not. So at this moment, it is not successful because policy is still getting applied. And now you can see that firewall has started accepting the ping packet on its internal interface. All right. At the same time, if I do a refresh here, I should be able to now access the firewall for administrative purpose. So click on OK, add the exception, and then proceed, and you will be able to log in into the firewall now for managing it from the internal network as well, right? So you see that I have access to the firewall on the management IP address, and now I'm also able to access the firewall on the internal interface as well. So I will be using the account, let's say admin at 123 hash, select the banner and click on OK. And now you can see that you are able to manage your firewall from the internal network as well. All right. So before I go further, anybody have any questions you would like to ask or clarify?
Krishna, just can you go to that profile again, the interface management profile again?
Yeah, I will be showing that out. Okay.
Yeah, I just missed out that part.
Okay. So you have to be into the network tab.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, you see the network profiles option, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a profile called interface management.
Mm-hmm.
Here we did not had any profile, so we created one by adding. And if I
Mm-hmm.
want to see what all things we have allowed here, we can see this. These are the features what we have allowed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is interface management access, right? So
Yes, this
management interface in our case is in a different subnet, right? So
correct.
this is only for internal interface management, right? If you want to access the device via internal interface, right?
Correct. So by default, PAN OS does not allow access to its configuration utility on internal or external or DMG interface. Those are the
Okay.
data plane interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
User
Mm-hmm.
traffic can be flowing through the firewall. If it has
Correct.
a valid IP address and the routing is there, security policy is there, your
Mm-hmm.
internal users can access external resource and vice versa. But you
Correct.
will not be able to access the firewall for administrative purpose. For that, we are creating a management profile and attaching to the interface so that firewall will also start accepting the administrative connection on the internal interface as well.
Interface. It is nothing to do with the management interface that we
It
generally
Yes.
configure, right?
Yes, it doesn't have to do anything with a dedicated management port. अगर आपको उस पोर्ट से रिलेटेड कोई भी सेटिंग करनी है तो
Hmm.
उसके लिए फिर आपको डिवाइस में जाना रहेगा, यहाँ पे जाके सेटअप में, फिर
Hmm.
इंटरफेस में जाके आप यहाँ पे जो भी चेंजेस करना है आप कर सकते हो.
Okay, okay.
ठीक
And
है.
whenever we say that Palo Alto has the feature that it has a different management plane and it has a different data plane. So
Correct.
the current profile which we have applied, it is on a data plane interface, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Hmm.
This setting what we are saying is a default setting on the management plane,
Hmm.
right?
Okay,
This is the
okay,
management interface. So this is a management plane setting. Okay.
okay,
The
okay.
one what we just now applied to
Hmm.
the internal interface is a data plane, and we attached a management profile to it so that we can also manage the firewall on that interface as
From
well.
right, right. Okay, okay. Got it, got it, got it. Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And as I said, we don't allow the uh, access on external interface,
Hmm.
because by mistake, for example, let's say if you enable administrative access on your external interface, and
Hmm.
if a hacker got to know your public IP address, right, they may try to log into your firewall by guessing some password or doing a brute force attack on your firewall. So we
Right,
generally
right.
keep that disabled from the outside.
Outside, right? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Thank you.
Krishna, is there any limitation that we can attach this management profile to the interfaces? Because as of now, we are having 24 interfaces. So on all interfaces we can add, or I'm just asking because you already told that on external interface you can't attach profile. But what about different interfaces? Can we attach this profile?
No, you can attach on external interface as well.
Mm-hmm.
There is no restriction as such. But as a best practice, we don't attach anything on the external side because it will be exposed to the outside world, right? So
Okay.
people can also try accessing.
Correct.
Otherwise, if I go to this setting interface, I can apply the same management profile to this one as well. I can attach the same management profile here as well. But in this case, I'm exposing my external interface to the outside world.
Correct.
Now it will start accepting the ping packet. It will start accepting SSH and HTTPS connection on the external IP address as well. That is why
Got it.
we don't apply. So whatever interface you are seeing here, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
attach the management profile to all the interfaces. You can create custom management profile. Let me
Mm-hmm.
take a quick example. For example, let's say you are a expert on Paloalto Firewall and you are on a vacation, for example, right? Your team, you have 5 to 6 team members, but they are not really expert to handle this one of the issue, and they need your expert opinion on this, or they want you to look into this issue, right? Now you are not carrying your office laptop on a vacation, so you cannot do the VPN, right? uh, let's say you have your mobile phone, or maybe you have your personal laptop, right? So you can ask your team member that can you create a management profile, and in that management profile, let's say you just create a access for, let's say, uh, temp temp admin access, temporary admin access, and let's say you just want to have access through HTTPS, okay? And source IP address, you can keep it to any, or maybe you can ask to, I can ask you, like, can you give me your public IP address, right? So I can specify your public IP here as a source IP address, so that only your source public IP address will be able to initiate the connection. So I can go with this option, then go to the interface, attach this profile to the external interface, and now you will be able to access the firewall using HTTPS, right? This is only for a time being. Once the troubleshooting is done, you have fixed the issue, I will go ahead, remove the management profile, and I will commit the configuration, right? But as I said, you should not allow the administrative access on the external interface. You should be removing this if you ever see the profile attached here.
Rather, you should carry your office laptop on vacation.
What is that?
Rather, you should carry your office laptop on vacation.
And
Any,
one more thing. So
yes,
there is like a separate management port is there, okay?
right.
So this management profile and management port, okay, is there any like particular differences there, or you can handle all these things from this management profile as well?
You can do it through management profile directly.
Okay,
Yes. But initial access to the firewall is possible only through the management port.
management port, yes, got it.
Using that management port only, you are able to do all these configurations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because by default, firewall will not have internal, external interfaces configured, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we are clear till now.
Yes, yes,
No,
yes.
other firewalls also have the dedicated management port. So even you talk about FortiGate, you talk about Checkpoint, or you talk about Cisco FTD, they have a dedicated management port now. So that port is not used for any data traffic going from inside to outside and outside. It is dedicatedly only for the management purpose. That is what we can enter here, right? So if we go to this, here we can specify who all can access the firewall. Single IP address as well. So अगर मुझे एक ही IP को allow करना है, for example, let's say 200.10.10.50 for example. So I will use /32 here. /32 represents a single IP address, right? So आप यहाँ पे एक IP दे सकते हो इस तरह से. All right. Anybody have any other questions you would like to ask? Yes. No questions? All right. So we'll move forward now. So the next task is this PC should be able to reach to the internet. Okay. So let me go to this PC now. I will close this. Okay. So from here, if I try ping 4.2.2.2, this is an internet resource. I'm not able to ping, right? At the same time, if I try pinging www.google.com, even this is not going through. That means we do not have reachability up to the internet. Now, we were having the reachability up to the firewall. I was able to ping to the firewall, but after that, I'm not able to. Even if I try pinging the ISP router 192.168.1.1, you can see that I'm not able to ping. Okay. So now let's say we'll go ahead and focus more on the security policies. And so close this, go to the firewall, right? And now I will go to the object section first. Okay. Here I'm going to create a tag. Let's say I will give the tag as trusted. Select the color for this tag as green color. This tag should be used for internal objects. Okay. And then I will create one more tag, untrusted. I will select the color as red. This tag should be used for external objects. external objects. Okay, now I'm going to create the address object. So I will mention it as internal net 10.10.4.0 internal network internal network 10.10.4.0. The subnet is 10.10.4.0/24. This is just a name, and this is the actual subnet or the IP we are going to use, and we are going to use the trusted tag here. Okay, this one is done. I created an object for one of the uh, network subnet. Okay, now I'm going to use this object into the policy. So we'll go to the policy first, right? By default, Palo Alto Firewall has two policies. One is known as interzone default and one is known as intrazone default, right? I'm going to explain about these policies, what these policies does onto the firewall. And here you can see that one policy, intrazone policy, has allow action and interzone policy has deny action. We will get back to this a bit later. Our first target is to allow our internal subnet to be able to go to the internet. So I'm going to add a policy here. I will name this policy as explicit deny. Explicit deny all. Okay. In this case, I'm going to use the source zone as both internal and external. Source IP address any, destination zone as internal and external, and destination IP address as any, application as any, service as any, and this time the action I want to use as drop. Okay, and I will log this connection here. This is one of our policy that I have added as explicit deny. Already we have a deny policy at the bottom, right? The last policy what we see here is showing as deny, right? But I'm going to create a explicit policy which will be giving me idea that this policy is denying all the traffic. Now I'm going to add another policy here. I will give a name as common services access. Common services access. What is the common service we have? Common services will be DNS, ICMP, trace route, ping, all this. Okay, so I'm going to add a policy here saying that if the traffic is coming from the inside zone, right, and the source address is the one what we created just now, right, going for destination as outside zone to any destination, allow the applications as, let's say, DNS. I want to allow DNS traffic. I want to allow ICMP traffic. I want to allow ping. And I also want to allow, let's say, trace route. All right. All these should be allowed as a common services. Okay. So after this, we'll go to this one, select it to any, and action as allow and log this activity. Okay, so we'll go ahead and apply this. Now you see that explicit deny policy is at the top, right? I need to move it down, so I can just move it at the bottom, and allow policy is at the top. Okay, now I'm going to commit this change. I missed one thing. We will also have to do natting because traffic is going from private to a public. Okay, so we will also need a NAT policy. So let this one complete. Now I will go to this NAT policy, add a policy here, allow all. Source zone is inside, destination zone is outside. And at this point, you don't have to worry about this. I'm just taking one of the use case. I'm going to explain in very detail that why I'm doing all this configuration and what is the impact of this. Okay. So source IP will be our subnet, what we have created. Translated IP address is going to be, let's say I will use the interface IP address for translation. This is our external interface with this IP address, and we are okay with this. And then do the commit. All right. So configuration is committed now. I will go back to that PC again. Here we were not able to ping, right? So we'll try pinging again. I'm able to reach to the ISP. Now we'll try pinging google.com. Am I able to ping google.com? It is going through. And even if I try pinging this one, I can see that it is going through, right? Now, if you really want to know whether it is following the path what we are expecting here. So let's say I'm pinging from this machine, right, to the internet. So I'm on this particular machine. From here, I'm trying to reach to the internet for 8.8.8 google.com, right? So how the packet will be going, right? If I do a trace route, it should show this as a first hop, this as a second hop, this as a third hop, this as a fourth hop, and then packet should go into the ISP network, right? So let us quickly verify that whether it is really doing the same thing or not. So if I go to this, do a quick trace route, trace cert, www.google.com. First hop, second hop, firewall, ISP, and it went into the public network, right? Can we see this, the proper path here, right? At the same time, for example, let's say you want to confirm that whether it is really the firewall which is taking action on this. Let's say it is going through this. I will go to each router. Ping is working as expected. Let's say I will go here. Telnet 10.10.0.2. Which router is this? Core 2. I'm on core 2. Let's say if I look at show IP interface brief, two of the interfaces are up. Fast Ethernet 0/0 connecting towards the firewall and 0/1 connecting towards the core one, right? If I shut down any of these interfaces, what will happen? Ping should break, right? So let's say if I go to interface fast Ethernet, let's say I will shut down the firewall side interface. Just do a shutdown and you should be seeing that the packet will be dropping. It should show timeout, right? That means we are going through the path only, right? I impacted one of the interface and now you see that it is showing as destination host unreachable, right? The moment I bring up this interface now, right, it should be restoring the connectivity, right? So here, now I lost access to the device because I shut down the same interface, right? So I will connect on the other interface, telnet 10.10.3.1. Now this is one of the stupid thing I did, right? As a network engineer, you should be very careful that uh, you cannot block your connection itself, right? So anyway, that was by mistake. I did not really realize that I'm connected on the same IP address. Okay, so I'm here now. If I go with show IP interface brief, you can see that this interface is administratively down now. So I will go ahead and bring it up from this here, uh, configure terminal, interface, fast Ethernet, let's say 0/0, and just do no shutdown and exit and do WR. Okay, and now you should be able to see that packet has been restored. We are able to see the ping now again for google.com, right? So is it going through the path what we are following? Now let's say I'm on this firewall. I will go to the interface, and this is the internal interface and external interface. Let me shut down one of this. Let's say I will shut down the external interface. Go to advanced, bring it down. Okay. And now commit this configuration, right? Will I lose access to the firewall now? No, right? Because I'm connected on the management port, not on the external interface IP address. So even if it is in a shutdown state, it is not going to be impacting. But we can see that traffic flow will be disconnected now. All right. That means our configuration is going through the firewall. We check the router, we check the firewall, and anything that we are making changes here, it is impacting our traffic, right? So at this point, you see that this interface is showing as down now, right? We'll go ahead and bring it up. So we'll make it as up, make the changes, commit it. Okay, so this is done now, and we should be seeing that packet has been restored. Clear? Now, the last test I want to do here is, let's say I'm on this machine and I want to access internet on this PC. Okay, so if I try going for www dot, let's say infosys.com, am I able to access infosys.com? And it says that waiting for infosys.com. I'm not able to access it, right? At the same time, if I go here and do a quick ping www.infosys.com, I'm able to ping to infosys.com, but infosys.com is not opening here, right? The reason is we allowed only some of the common services like ICMP, ping, and DNS, right? I did not allow SSL and the web browsing, right? So we will go ahead and write a policy on the firewall. I will add a policy here to allow web access, internet access. Okay, so I'm going to select this, add a policy, allow web access. Okay, source from where the traffic is going to come, inside zone. What is the subnet that want to access internet? 4.0, right? What will be the destination zone? Outside. What is the destination IP address? Any, because we don't know what user want to access on the internet, right? Application, I want to allow web browsing, and SSL because most of the websites are today using HTTPS, right? And I will also allow Google base, Google base. Okay. Service, I will keep it to any for now at this moment. Action is to allow and just apply this, commit the configuration. So once the configuration is committed, now that user should be able to access the internet using the web browser. It's वो आपको अलाउ करना, इसीलिए फायरवॉल हम लोग डिप्लॉय कर रहे हैं ना, कि जो भी आपको अलाउ करना है आप वो सर्विस वहां पे ऐड करोगे। और ये जो रिक्वेस्ट आती है वो हम लोग अपनी मर्जी से नहीं करते हैं, हमें यूजर के यहाँ से रिक्वेस्ट आएगा कि ये सोर्स आईपी एड्रेस है, ये डेस्टिनेशन आईपी एड्रेस है, इसके बीच में इस पोर्ट को कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए अलाउ करना है, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी डू ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस। लेकिन उसी के लिए आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि जोन क्या होता है, उस पे कौन सा आईपी एड्रेस कॉन्फ़िगर है, राउटिंग है या नहीं है, नेटिंग कॉन्फ़िगर है या नहीं है, ये सब जो है आपका डे टू डे टास्क रहेगा एज अ सिक्योरिटी इंजीनियर। सो वंस दिस इज डन, we'll go back to the PC now here, and you can see that Infosys has started to open because it was trying to connect and it is opening now. We can go for www.google.com. We can reach to the Google as well, right? And we are able to go to the internet now, right? If I quickly want to verify whether this is really happening through the firewall, again, we can go to the monitor tab, click onto this browser session, and you can see that traffic is coming from which PC? 10.10.4.0, right? 10.10.4.0, and it is trying to access all these public IP addresses. I accessed Yahoo, sorry, Infosys, Google, and so on. And you can see that which policy is accepting the connection, allow web access, right? Traffic is coming from ETH1/3. This is our internal interface, and egress interface is 1/1, which is our external interface. You can see the bytes of packets sent and received through this particular source and destination, right? So everything is working as expected. You can see some traffic is going as SSL traffic, some traffic is going as DNS, some as Google base, and so on. And things are working as expected. If I look at this packet here, one of the packet, you can see what is the source IP address. So you can see that, let's say not this one. Let's say I will open this packet. So you can see what is the source IP address here. It says source is this. Source IP address is 10.10.4.10 and destination IP address is this one, right? Source port is this and destination port is this one. You see that source port is taken from 1024 range, right? And destination is your service port that is falling under the reserved port category, right? What is the policy that is being applied? It says rule is allow web access. And what is the NAT rule that is being allowed here? It says allow all, that we created in our firewall. Clear? So according to our policy, now firewall is accepting the connection and it is allowing to the outside world. Clear? Now, as of now, we have just tested this connectivity for one subnet. There are many other subnet and the services that we are going to keep configuring as we progress, right? And we will be writing the policy. So at least our firewall should have 10 to 20 policies to replicate the enterprise network configuration. And as we keep progressing, we will be seeing that how policy keep increasing and how to build a logic about the firewall processing. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions you want to ask now? यस। हम्म। ऑन विच राउटर? ओके, हियर we have the default route, right? We configured a default route sending towards this site. So अगर आपको देखना है यहाँ पे, so you can just look at the core one, and here if you look at show IP route, we have a static route configured pointing to the other route. So यहाँ से मैंने इसकी तरफ route को भेजा है। अगर यहाँ पे हम लोग route नहीं देते, so यहीं पे पैकेट ड्रॉप हो जाता था, राइट? ये आगे पैकेट भेजता ही नहीं था, तो इसलिए यहाँ पे हमने राउट दिया हुआ है, डिफॉल्ट राउट। यस। हाँ। हाँ, सो अभी जैसे मान के चलिए कि मैं इस पीसी से इसको टेलनेट किया था, इस वाले आईपी को, तो ये वाला इंटरफेस ही मैंने शट डाउन कर दिया, तो मेरा कनेक्शन डाउन हो गया। लेकिन ये वाला इंटरफेस तो अभी भी चालू है, राइट? तो मैंने फिर क्या किया, इस वाले आईपी को कनेक्ट किया। अगर मैंने गलती से इसको शट डाउन किया होता तो मेरा कनेक्शन इससे चले जाता था, फिर मुझे क्या करना पड़ता, कंसोल लेना पड़ता। तो वो मैं फिर यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली इस पे राइट क्लिक करके और फिर कंसोल लेकर के वो चीज कर सकता। लेकिन यहाँ तक रीचेबिलिटी थी यहाँ से, इसलिए मैंने डायरेक्टली फिर से यहाँ से इसको टेलनेट कर दिया।
और लॉगिन लोकल किया है इसके वजह से टेलनेट हो रहा है ना?
क्या क्या?
लॉगिन लोकल जो कमांड डाला है उसकी वजह से
हाँ,
टेलनेट हो रहा है ना?
नहीं नहीं, लाइन VTY 0/4 जो हमने कमांड यूज किया ना, उसकी
हाँ।
वजह से हो रहा है।
ओके।
ठीक है, वहां पे लॉग इन लोकल बोलने का मतलब है कि वो जो लोकल यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड हमने दिया है ना,
हाँ।
उसको यूज करना स्टार्ट करेगा राउटर। अदरवाइज फिर आप,
ओके।
आपको यूजर
बिकॉज
नेम पासवर्ड
प्रोडक्शन
की
में
जरूरत
हम वो निकाल देते हैं, लॉगिन लोकल को निकाल देते हैं, करेक्ट ना?
नहीं रहता है वो। अभी जैसे मान के चलिए कि आपका टैकैक्स रीचेबल नहीं रहा, फॉर
हम्म।
एग्जाम्पल,
हम्म।
तो
हम्म।
उस केस में आप राउटर को कैसे कनेक्ट करोगे? तो एक लोकल अकाउंट हम लोग रखते हैं जनरली हर एक डिवाइस के ऊपर, ताकि
तो
अगर
वो
हमारा,
लोकल अकाउंट तो रहता है
हाँ।
लोकली लॉगिन करने के लिए, बट मेरा पॉइंट ये है,
हम्म।
अ, बस इंजीनियर जाता है तब हम लॉगिन लोकल करते हैं, मतलब मुझे वो समझ में नहीं आया था अभी तक कि क्यों।
लॉग इन लोकल का जैसे अभी जैसे मान के चलिए कि अगर मैंने वो कमांड रन नहीं किया
हम्म।
एंड यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड मैंने क्रिएट करके रखा है, तो
करेक्ट।
उस केस में तो राउटर आपको रिमोटली टेलनेट करके और उस यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड से लॉग इन करने नहीं देगा।
पर हम क्या उसमें टेलनेट एसएसएच कर सकते हैं ना, मतलब
नहीं,
ट्रांसपोर्ट इनपुट, ट्रांसपोर्ट इनपुट एसएसएच
हाँ
कर सकते हैं
लेकिन
ना?
हाँ लेकिन अगर आप लॉग इन लोकल वाला कमांड निकाल दोगे ना वहां से, तो
हाँ।
आपका जो लोकल क्रीडेंशियल आपने बनाया है, जैसे एडमिन एडमिन
हाँ
वाला जो है,
वो समझा मैं, हाँ हाँ।
वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करेगा वो।
ओके, वही 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 पॉइंट था मेरा,
हाँ,
एग्जैक्टली
तो
exactly.
वो टेलनेट का कनेक्शन एक्सेप्ट करेगा।
हम्म।
हाँ, लेकिन
हम्म।
पासवर्ड वहां पे टेलनेट वाला पूछेगा आपको, एडमिन यूजर नेम डालने के लिए नहीं पूछेगा, डायरेक्टली टेलनेट का पासवर्ड पूछेगा फिर।
ओके।
हाँ, अभी जैसे मान के चलिए कि मैं इस वाले राउटर पे गया, R2 पे, यहाँ पे, एंड कॉन्फ़िगर टर्मिनल, लाइन VTY 0/4, नो लॉगिन लोकल।
लोकल।
ठीक है,
करेक्ट, हाँ।
एग्जिट कर दिया। यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड ऑलरेडी क्रिएटेड है वहां पे, राइट?
करेक्ट।
डू
करेक्ट।
WR। ठीक है, अभी मैं जाता हूँ यहाँ पे पीसी पे, और वहां से मैं टेलनेट करता हूँ जैसे अभी तक कर रहा था। ठीक है, जब मैं टेलनेट कर रहा था तो राउटर क्या पूछ रहा था वहां पे, यूजर नेम
यूजर
के लिए
नेम
पूछ रहा था,
पासवर्ड।
राइट?
हम्म।
ठीक है, सो अगर मैं इसको, अभी यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा है ये, डायरेक्टली लॉगिन के लिए लेके गया। ठीक है।
वही 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 पॉइंट था मेरा, डायरेक्टली वो टेलनेट के लिए नहीं पूछेगा यूजर नेम, ये डायरेक्टली लॉगिन हो जाएगा।
अच्छा,
अगर
ये
ये
आप
आप,
बोल रहे थे क्या? हाँ हाँ।
हाँ ये बोल रहा था मैं, लॉगिन
हम्म।
लोकल हम रखते नहीं है
हम्म।
बेसिकली।
वो जब इंजीनियर जाता है ना तभी लॉगिन लोकल रखते हैं, कुछ एक्टिविटी चल रहा है तो हम टेलनेट से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं।
ओके।
हाँ, मोस्टली हम वही करते हैं, इसलिए इसलिए बोला। और वहां पे वो टेलनेट ये रहता ही नहीं है। हम ट्रांसपोर्ट इनपुट एसएसएच, ट्रांसपोर्ट आउटपुट तो नहीं करते, बट इनपुट ही एसएसएच करते हैं, मतलब इंटरनल टीम के लिए।
अभी जैसे एक एक और टेस्ट कर लेते हैं। यहाँ पे मैंने एग्जिट किया, ठीक है, और यहाँ पे इस पे गए, एग्जिट, शो, रन, ये है, ठीक है। कॉन्फ़िगर टर्मिनल, नो यूजर नेम एडमिन, नो यूजर नेम ट्रेनर, एग्जिट, WR, ठीक है। और यहाँ पे कॉन्फ़िग डी किया। अभी मैं फिर से एक बार टेलनेट करता हूँ इसको, डायरेक्टली ले रहा है, ठीक है। नाउ इफ आई गो टू line vty 0 space 4
0 to 4।
login local exit do wr, ठीक है, एग्जिट। अभी मैं फिर से करता हूँ। सो यहाँ पे यूजर नेम के लिए पूछ रहा है।
पूछ रहे हैं। और वो टेलनेट लेगा अभी शायद।
हाँ,
टेलनेट वाला, जो टेलनेट एट द
टेलनेट,
रेट वन
हाँ।
टू थ्री हाँ, 1 2 3 हैश, वो वाला लेना।
हाँ, नहीं, पासवर्ड डाला है। एक 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 सेकेंड है। लाइन vty 0 space 4 पासवर्ड telnet at 123 hash exit do wr, okay.
10.10.0.2 अपना L3 वाला है ना? मतलब कोर 2 है ना?
कोर 2 पे ही कर रहा था ना मैं।
या कोर, हाँ कोर 2 पे कर रहे थे, करेक्ट करेक्ट।
टेलनेट का, टेलनेट के लिए पूछना चाहिए था वो। ठीक है, एनीवे देखते हैं।
देखते देखते ही
ऑलराइट, सो आवर फायरवॉल टास्क जो जो हम लोग अचीव करना चाहते हैं, इट इज कंप्लीटेड, राइट। सो वी वर एबल टू अलाउ एक्सेस फ्रॉम इनसाइड टू आउटसाइड, ओके। एनीबॉडी हैव एनी क्वेश्चन, यू वांट टू क्लैरिफाई एनीथिंग?
सर हेलो, हाय,
यस,
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
या गो
सर
अहेड।
पूछना था, जो जो आर्किटेक्चर है ना, ये आर्किटेक्चर क्या मतलब टीयर 2 डेटा सेंटर का है क्या ये? या
क्या क्या?
थोड़ा ये आर्किटेक्चर समझना था सर, ये जो आर्किटेक्चर है ना,
हाँ,
ये आर्किटेक्ट मतलब क्या टीयर 2 डेटा सेंटर का है या किस तरह से, क्या चीजें हैं?
नहीं नहीं, ये जो है आपका हेडक्वार्टर या फिर
हाँ
कैंपस नेटवर्क का आर्किटेक्चर है, ठीक है। जहाँ पे हम लोग ये पूरे ऑफिस के रिसोर्सेस हैं, जहाँ पे एम्प्लॉयज बैठ
हाँ
रहे हैं, और आपका इंटरनल एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी हो गया, डीएनएस सर्वर हो गया, डीएचसीपी सर्वर हो गया, ये हो जाता है। और यहाँ से ट्रैफिक इंटरनेट की तरफ जा रहा है तो फायरवॉल से क्रॉस होगा। और एट द सेम टाइम कैंपस नेटवर्क में कुछ सर्वर्स आपने ऐसे रखे हैं जो कि बाहर के लोगों को एक्सेस करना होता है, तो उनको हम लोग यहीं से डायरेक्टली फायरवॉल से इधर भेज दे रहे हैं। ये लोग कभी भी इंटरनली एक्सेस नहीं कर पाएंगे कोई भी चीज, ठीक है। तो बाहर के लोगों के लिए जो एक्सेसिबल चीजें होनी चाहिए उसको हम लोग डीएमजी में रखते हैं, एंड इंटरनल यूजर्स जो रहते हैं या इंटरनल सर्वर जो रहते हैं, जैसे एचआर पोर्टल हो गया, फाइनेंस पोर्टल हो गया, इंट्रानेट हो गया, वो हम लोग अपने लोकल एरिया नेटवर्क दैट इज इनसाइड में रखते हैं. सो दिस इज अ एग्जांपल ऑफ कैंपस नेटवर्क, राइट. आगे हम लोग जैसे जाएंगे तो ये जो फायरवॉल है, एक हम लोग यहाँ पे मैंने डीसी के लिए बनाया है, मुंबई डीसी के लिए, और एक हैदराबाद ऑफिस के लिए बनाया है, जो कि हम लोग जैसे जैसे प्रोग्रेस करेंगे वैसे वैसे वहां पे ब्रांच ऑफिस और डेटा सेंटर का भी सेटअप करते जाएंगे.
ओके ओके, दैट मीन्स एक ये मतलब ये एक नॉर्मल आर्किटेक्चर है ना,
हाँ,
फॉर कैंपस कैंपस के लिए
फॉर
या
कैंपस नेटवर्क.
ऑफिसेस, समझ सकते
यस.
हैं। ओके ओके,
और
और सर
सेम
वो सबसे
सेम
ऊपर जो
टाइप का.
आई एन, सॉरी
कौन सा?
आप कुछ बोल रहे थे सर?
हाँ, ये सेम आर्किटेक्चर आपको हर एक कंपनी में मिलेगा. बस आपको ध्यान में रखना है कि अभी हम लोग एक एक फायरवॉल लिए हैं यहाँ पे, राइट.
हाँ
आगे चल के
हाँ,
हमें इसको हेचे में रखना पड़ेगा, तो ये भी हेचे में हो जाएगा, ये भी हेचे में रहेगा, और ये भी हेचे में रहेगा. यहाँ पे हम लोग पालो ऑल्टो का क्लस्टरिंग यूज करेंगे हाई अवेलेबिलिटी के लिए. यहाँ पे हम लोग चाहें तो HSRP VRRP का यूज कर सकते हैं हाई अवेलेबिलिटी अचीव करने के लिए.
ओके। और सर जो सबसे टॉप पे जो सर्वर है वो कौन सा सर्वर है?
ये वाला
INPUNSCR-V1 और वो? हाँ,
ये वाला ना, ये
यस
विंडोज
यस।
विंडोज सर्वर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है इसमें, जिसमें मैंने एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी रन करके रखा है, और इसी में DNS और DHCP भी चालू है. तो ये जो सर्वर
अच्छा,
है,
और टॉप?
जब मैं पावर ऑन
यस
करूंगा तो
यस।
इसमें DNS DHCP और एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी रन होगा. और ये जो फायरवॉल है, ये मैंने SNMP सिसलॉग सर्वर्स के लिए बनाया है, जहाँ पे हम लोग SNMP का टूल रन करेंगे, सिसलॉग रन करेंगे, और फायरवॉल का जो लॉग्स है वो हम लोग यहाँ पे भेजेंगे.
ओके सर, ओके, गॉट इट, थैंक यू।
सर मुझे पूछना था,
हम्म.
ये जो ट्रैफिक फ्लो रहता है
हाँ.
पालो अल्टो का, ये
हाँ,
सिमिलर रहेगा क्या फोर्टी गेट और अदर फायरवॉल से, और इसमें कुछ आर्किटेक्चर मीन्स
थोड़े
चेंजेस
बहुत
रहे?
थोड़े बहुत डिफरेंसेस रहेंगे, बट
हम्म
एक बार आपने पालो ऑल्टो का आर्किटेक्चर समझ लिया, तो सेम लॉजिक जो है आपका फोर्टीगेट या फिर चेक पॉइंट पे भी अप्लाई होता है. बस माइनर जो डिफरेंसेस है, जैसे पालो ऑल्टो इज अ प्योरली जोन बेस्ड फायरवॉल. इसका मतलब है कि एक जोन से दूसरे जोन में जब ट्रैफिक जाता है तो उसके लिए सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी लगता है. चेक पॉइंट में जो है जोन का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, ठीक है.
हम्म हम्म
सिस्को ए फायरवॉल में सिक्योरिटी लेवल का कॉन्सेप्ट यूज होता है, वहां पे भी जोन कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता. तो ये माइनर डिफरेंसेस हैं, जो कि मैं एक बार वो भी एक्सप्लेन करूंगा कि कौन से फायरवॉल का किस टाइप का बिहेवियर होता है.
ओके ओके, ठीक है।
ऑल राइट, एनीबडी हैव एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस यू वांट टू आस्क? नो.
नो
सो
सर।
हम लोगों ने सुबह कितना 8:30 बजे स्टार्ट किया था क्लास. 8:30 से 10:15 हो रहा है, हार्डली वन वन 1.5 आवर्स, राइट. 1.5 आवर में हमने क्या किया, एक फायरवॉल का पूरा सेटअप किया, राइट. उस पे इंटरफेसेस, राउटिंग, जोन्स, ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाया, सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी बनाया, नेटिंग क्रिएट किया, एंड आवर फायरवॉल इज एबल टू नाउ राउट द ट्रैफिक, राइट. सो एक बार आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होते जाएगा, राइट. सो ऐसे हम लोग 3-4 और फायरवॉल anyway during the entire session करने वाले. So you can now start telling to the interviewer कि मैं Palo Alto firewall को scratch से configure कर सकता हूँ, existing network में हो या फिर नए नेटवर्क में हो. I will be able to deploy it very confidently. ठीक है. बस आपको ध्यान किसके ऊपर देना है कि आपका लॉजिक क्लियर होते जाए. फायरवॉल को हम लोग कहाँ पे प्लेस करते हैं, उसका इंटरफेस कॉन्फ़िगरेशन क्यों होगा, राउटिंग कौन से केस में कहाँ पे करना चाहिए, ऑल दीज थिंग्स, राइट. जो कि धीरे धीरे ग्रेजुअली ये चीज आप लोगों का बिल्डअप होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा.
तो सर एक क्वेश्चन था।
यस.
ये जो सर जो फायरवॉल लगा हुआ है ना मुंबई और हैदराबाद का,
हाँ
उसमें
हाँ.
जो 4 ISP दिखा रहा है, मतलब क्या, मतलब ये कौन कौन किसके लिए मतलब है ये? 1 2 3 4, मतलब हैदराबाद और मुंबई के लिए जो दिखा रहा है यहाँ पे, तो दो दो
अभी
मतलब
जैसे
एक मेन एक
अलग
एक redundant ऐसा करके है क्या? दो दो है क्या, क्या है?
अलग अलग ऑफिसेस है ना ये.
हाँ।
मैं अभी जो हम लोग कॉन्फ़िगर कर रहे हैं ये पुणे ऑफिस का कर रहे हैं, तो आईएसपी यहाँ पे तो अलग रहेगा. जब आप
यस।
हैदराबाद का ऑफिस सेटअप करोगे तो वहां पे आईएसपी आपका अलग हो जाएगा, राइट.
राइट राइट।
ठीक है, तो ये हर एक ऑफिस का आईएसपी मैंने वहां पे बस दिखाया है।
नहीं, वो चार दिख रहा ना हमें,
क्या?
ISP 1, ISP 3, ISP
ये
वन
ये
टू
ब,
थ्री फोर
ये बस मैंने नाम दिया है। मैं यहाँ पे टाटा लिख सकता हूँ, रिलायंस लिख सकता हूँ,
अच्छा, ओके, फॉर ओनली
जिससे
एग्जांपल।
हाँ, जिससे भी हम लोग कनेक्शन लेंगे उसका नाम वहां पे लगा देंगे उसको। ठीक है, ऑल राइट देन, सो विल वाइंड अप फॉर द डे। आई होप यू गाइज आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियरली। अगर आपको कहीं पे भी लगता है कि नहीं, कुछ और चीजें एक्सप्लेन करने की जरूरत है, सो आई विल बी एक्सप्लेनिंग दैट। लेकिन आज का जो सेटअप था, अभी मैंने डिटेल में कुछ भी एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया है, बस मुझे एक चीज करके आप लोगों को दिखाना था कि दिस इज हाउ वी प्लेस द फायरवॉल इन द नेटवर्क। एंड अगर उससे कुछ ट्रैफिक को कंट्रोल करना है तो सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी, नेट पॉलिसी, राउटिंग, ये सब हमें कॉन्फ़िगर करना पड़ता है। कल से जो है मैं डिटेल में बताना स्टार्ट करूंगा कि जो इंटरफेस हम लोगों ने कॉन्फ़िगर किया, उसमें हम लोगों ने L3 ही क्यों चूज किया, उसमें हमने वर्चुअल राउटर क्यों अटैच किया, जोन क्यों अटैच किया, राइट। आईपी लेते टाइम हमने वो सबनेट का ही आईपी क्यों लिया, ये सब मैं डिटेल में कल से बताना स्टार्ट करूंगा। ऑल राइट एवरीवन, सो विल वाइंड अप फॉर द डे, सी यू टुमारो देन।
ओके, थैंक यू सर। सर एक चीज
थैंक
पूछा
यू।
था सर। सर,
क्या
सर
क्या?
हेलो।
यस।
हेलो।
यस।
हेलो।
या गो हेड, आई कैन हियर यू। हेलो।
आई
ड्रॉप हो
थिंक
गए
ड्रॉप हो
शायद,
गए।
हाँ।
हाँ।
सर इसका कुछ पीडीएफ है क्या पालोल्टो का, मीन्स स्टार्ट
हाँ,
जस्ट
पढ़ने के
फॉर
लिए ना
रीडिंग,
मैं
हाँ वो।
हाँ,
मैं शेयर
पढ़ने के
कर
लिए
दूंगा।
करेक्ट।
सर
और
थोड़ा
वो
ना इंटरव्यू पॉइंट ऑफ से भी थोड़ा ये क्वेश्चंस आप शेयर करोगे ना ड्यूरिंग सेशन, सो इट विल
राइट,
हेल्प अस।
नहीं इसीलिए मैं हमेशा ही आप
हाँ
लोगों को
हाँ
जो है
हाँ
ना
हाँ
वो यूज केस बताता हूँ, राइट।
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
जैसे अभी एक्सटर्नल फायरवॉल,
हम्म
एक्सटर्नल इंटरफेस पे एक्सेस करना है तो क्या करेंगे उस केस में, तो वो भी एक तरह से इंटरव्यू पॉइंट ऑफ क्वेश्चन आ
इंटरव्यू।
सकता है। ठीक है, सो मैं ड्यूरिंग द सेशन जहां पे भी लगेगा कि ये इंटरव्यू में पूछा जाता है अभी तक बेस्ड ऑन माय एक्सपीरियंसेस, वो मैं आप लोगों को बताते जाऊंगा।
ठीक है, चलिए, थैंक यू।
कृष्णा सर हेलो।
यस, गो अहेड नीरज।
हेलो।
नीरज
या
गेटिंग योर वॉइस।
सर बोले थे वो एक्चुअली जो फायरवॉल जो दिखाया गया था ना, दो, एक हैदराबाद और एक मुंबई का, तो उसमें
हाँ,
जैसे नॉर्मल जो हम लोग का डेटा सेंटर में होता है, एक इंटरनल फायरवॉल होता है, एक्सटर्नल फायरवॉल होता है, तो इस तरह का टोपोलॉजी इसमें नहीं दिख रहा, मतलब वही मैं पूछना चाह रहा था।
तो अभी तो हम लोग वो डिजाइन ही नहीं किए है ना, वो तो मैंने बस नाम के लिए वहां पे दिखा दिया है अभी तक। ठीक है, अभी तो हम लोग एक एक कैंपस नेटवर्क पे ही काम कर रहे हैं ना। जब हम लोग डेटा सेंटर के डिजाइन पे जाएंगे तो वहां पे मैं डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा, और वो टोपोलॉजी हम लोग उसी टाइम पे बिल्ड करेंगे। यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने पीसी सर्वर ये सब लगाया है ना, वो हम लोग डेटा सेंटर के टाइम पे उसको ऐड करते जाएंगे। तो आपका जो भी डाउट रहेगा आप वहां पे क्लियर कर सकते हो फिर।
तो यहाँ पे एक्सटर्नल का मतलब जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी क्या सर? यहाँ पे
अभी
एक्सटर्नल
मैं
एक्सटर्नल
नीरज,
और
अभी
इंटर सॉरी
अभी मैं क्या
इंटरनल का
बोलता हूँ
जरूरत,
ना।
इंटरनल जो है वो इंटरनल
हाँ,
ही है ना, जो यहाँ पे आर्किटेक्चर में दिख रहा है।
कहाँ पे?
मेरे को सिर्फ ये जानना था सर कि ये जो फायरवॉल जो दिख रहा है ना यहाँ पे, तो ये क्या मतलब, जैसे नॉर्मली हम मतलब मैं जहाँ पे देखा वहाँ तो इंटरनल एक्सटर्नल दोनों होता है, ठीक है ना? तो
हाँ,
ये मतलब ये क्या मतलब एक ये ऑल इन वन है क्या, मतलब ये इसी में सारा काम होगा?
नहीं, ये जो फायरवॉल है ना, इसको हम लोग एक्सटर्नल फायरवॉल बोलते हैं क्योंकि ये इंटरनेट फेसिंग है। ठीक है, अगर जैसे मान के चलो कि मुझे ये सर्वर्स को प्रोटेक्ट करना है, अगर मैंने कोई फायरवॉल यहाँ पे लगाया है, ठीक है, तो ये आपका इंटरनल फायरवॉल कहलाएगा, क्योंकि ये एक्सटर्नल के पीछे है। और ये फायरवॉल बस किसको प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है, इन सर्वर्स के एक्सेस को प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है। लेकिन ये फायरवॉल का काम क्या है, ये आपके इंटरनेट से ट्रैफिक जो आ रहा है उसको भी प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है, इंटरनेट से जो डीएमजी में जा रहा है उसको भी प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है, और इंटरनल से डीएमजी में जो जा रहा है उसको भी प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है। तो कोई भी फायरवॉल अगर इंटरनेट फेसिंग है उसको हम लोग एक्सटर्नल फायरवॉल बोलते हैं। ऑलराइट।
सिर्फ ये क्वेश्चन था मेरा कि जो फायरवॉल है ना, वो ये जो सिंगल फायरवॉल लगा हुआ है यहाँ पे,
हाँ,
सिंगल सिंगल दोनों जोन में, दोनों
हाँ,
लोकेशन जो लगी हुई है, तो ये
हाँ।
एज ए इंटरनल फायरवॉल भी और एज ए एक्सटर्नल दोनों काम करेगा, ये ऑल इन वन।
नहीं नहीं, इसको हम लोग एक्सटर्नल ही बोलेंगे क्योंकि ये इंटरनेट को कनेक्ट कर रहा है।
अच्छा।
ठीक है। अगर मैं वही बता रहा हूँ कि अगर मैं यहाँ कोई फायरवॉल रखूंगा ना तो इसको मैं इंटरनल बोलूंगा क्योंकि ये एक्सटर्नल के पीछे है।
ओके।
ठीक है। तो अगर कोई आपका फायरवॉल है जो कि डायरेक्टली इंटरनेट को एक्सपोज्ड है तो वो हमेशा एक्सटर्नल फायरवॉल ही कहलाएगा। ऑलराइट। Alright then, so we'll wind up for the day. We'll see you tomorrow then.
Okay, okay, bye.